Hi, Chelssee, this is just for you. Son, said my mother when I was knee-high, you need clothes to cover you and not a rag of eye. There's nothing in the house to mend a boy's breeches, not a needle to sew cloth with, not a thread to take stitches. There's nothing in the house but a loaf end of rye and the harp with a woman's head that nobody will buy. She began to cry. That was in the early fall. Came the late fall, son, she said, the sight of you makes your mother's blood crawl. Little skinny shoulder blades sticking through your clothes, and where you'll get a jacket from, God above knows. It's lucky for me, lad, your daddy's in the ground and can't see the way I let his son go around. She made a queer sound. That was in the late fall. When the winter came, I'd not a pair of breeches nor a shirt to my name. I couldn't go to school or out of doors to play, although all the other little boys passed our way. Son, said my mother, come climb into my lap and I'll chafe your little bones while you take a nap. And oh, but we were silly for half an hour or more, me with my long legs dragging on the floor and a rocking to a Mother Goose rhyme, but oh, we were happy for a half an hour's time. And there was I, a great boy, and what would folks say to hear my mother singing me to sleep all day in such a daft way? Men say the winter was bad that year, food was scarce and fuel was dear. A wind with a wolf's head howled about our door. We burned up the chairs and sat upon the floor. All that was left us was a chair we couldn't break and the harp with the woman's head nobody would take for song or pity's sake. The night before Christmas, I cried with the cold. I cried myself to sleep like a 2-year-old. And in the deep night, I felt my mother rise and stare down upon me with love in her eyes. I saw my mother stirring on the one good chair, a light falling on her from I couldn't tell where, looking 19 and not a day older, and the harp with the woman's head leaned against her shoulder. Her thin fingers moving in the thin, tall strings were weaving wonderful things. Many bright threads from where I couldn't see were running through the harp strings rapidly. And gold threads whistling through my mother's hand. I saw the web grow and the pattern expand. She wove a child's jacket, and when it was done, she laid it on the floor and wove another one. She wove a red cloak. So regal to see, she made it for a king's son, I said, but not for me. I knew it was for me. She wore a pair of breeches. Quicker than that, she wore a pair of boots and a little cocked hat. She wore a pair of mittens. She wore a little blouse. She wore all night. She wove all night in the still cold house. She sang as she worked, and the harp strings spoke. Her voice never faltered, and the thread never broke. And when I woke, there sat my mother, with the harp against her shoulder, looking 19 and not a day older. A smile about her lips and a light about her head, and her hands in the harp strings, frozen dead. And piled up beside her and toppling to the skies were the clothes of a king's son, just my size. That was the Ballad of the Harpweaver by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I think I was her in a former life after I died, when John Wilkes Booth shot me. Oh well, they won the Civil War because of it. So, this is a way that you could do poetry in class, maybe using screencasts and maybe using a Blackboard room or some other rooms where you have video feed so that one person at a time could recite and do. So that's just for you, Chelssee, just for you.